I feel this one. I am so sorry. So you've gone through a partner who's cheated on you, there's infidelity involved, and you go to couples therapy, and the counselor does one of two things. Either points it at you and says, well, you're to blame for this, or wants you to stop reflecting on your pain, wants to stop putting the light on your pain, and wants to change course to his pain and focusing on what he's going through. And nothing can feel more triggering because, hey, I didn't ask for this. I'm the one in pain. He did this. I'm here suffering. Why are we focusing on his feelings when we have my feelings to deal with? Hello. So there's two things to discern here. Number one, do you have the right therapist? Because if you have a therapist that is taking the abuser's side consistently and making you feel like you're to blame for their actions, under no circumstances is that acceptable. Whether you choose someone spiritual or someone who's licensed in therapy and taking it from a psychological point of view, find someone who has a heart for what it is and the goals that you both want to achieve. It's really important in identifying either a marriage coach, a counselor, a therapist that can help you get there. Next point I want to make, and I want to tread so lightly with this because I know that you're in pain, especially if it's near Discovery Day. And to anyone else watching this, this is going to be a really hard message to receive. So if you are not in a green space to hear what I'm going to say here, please keep scrolling, please leave, because I don't want to trigger you, and then come back when you are in a green mental space to hear what I'm going to say. You have every right to be angry. Your anger is valid. Your pain is valid. All the emotions that you are experiencing right now, even if you're having thoughts of unaliving, which is normal, all of those are valid because what you are experiencing is so traumatic, and this person did cause this. What happened is unfair. What you are going through is unfair. However, if you want this marriage to work, you're going to have to see the other side, the other perspective of this. So I need you to take your pain and I need you to just put it on a shelf for 1 second. We're going to come back to that pain and we're going to hold on to that pain for a little bit longer, but I just need for a second, need you to put it on the shelf for right now. And if your partner's in the room or if they're nearby, I want you to look at them and I want you to imagine them as a child. And I want you to imagine that that child was suppressed and suffocated a long time ago and learned coping mechanisms as a young child on how to deal with an abusive parent, a very traumatic moment in their life, ripples and ripples of pain beneath, probably could be sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, whatever it is. Look at your partner as a child that has undergone that. Imagine the anger, the crying, the pain that they experienced at that early age. And imagine this child building unhealthy coping mechanisms and that person growing into an adult. So let's take this from the stance that maybe your partner had a narcissistic personality disorder mother. I'm going to reenact an example of this and we're just going to call the person Jimmy. Jimmy, do you see how you make me feel all the time? You're such a turd, Jimmy. You can't do anything right, Jimmy. You're just a worthless piece of shit. Why don't you just get out of here, Jimmy? Get out of my sight. I don't want to see you anymore. What does Jimmy do with that? Maybe Jimmy's dealing with a death in the family. Maybe Jimmy's dealing with a lot of problems at school. Maybe Jimmy just lost his pet. Maybe Jimmy just couldn't meet to the perfectionism that his mother wanted him to reach, and he just always felt like a failure. More than likely, Jimmy's going to find comfort in corn. Jimmy at a very young age is going to find comfort in that, or the attention of other women. And so that is going to be his unhealthy coping mechanism. And Jimmy's going to take that from being an 8-year-old boy and taking that addiction into being a grown man. The hard reality, and this is a fine balance, so follow me with this. The hard reality is that he's in just as much pain as you are. That inner child trauma pain is what caused you pain. And it's like a pain that goes down from generation to generation to generation because now you've been given this pain and what do you do with it? And the unfair reality is that you have to decide, does the pain stop with me? Do I stop this cycle? Or does this pain keep going? Do I pass this pain on to somebody else? And so can you look at your partner or spouse and tell them, I know that you messed up, but I see you and I can give you the grace to love you and to give you a second chance and to see the good and the bad in you and to love you through it. There was a counselor who gave a story like that, and the man burst into tears when she did, because he said that no one in his entire life had ever done that for him. And a lot of these cases for these men, no one has ever done that for them. And that is why they're in the position they are today. They don't want to be there, but what does a grown man who has an addiction from the age of 8 or 9 or 10, 15 years old, this addiction's been going on for years, how does he stop cold turkey to be the man he knows he needs to be for you? And this is for women too. The reality is that he's going to have to do a lot of work to get out of that hole that he sunk himself into. And in a lot of ways, even though he needs to take accountability now as a grown man to do the work, it was also pain given to him as a child that he didn't ask for. And so if you can come to a place of grace, even though you're in so much pain and you're so angry with him, but if you can come to a place of grace, I think that is the breaking point in a marriage succeeding. So now you can take that pain back and you can hold on to it, because I know we need that right now. It's what's protecting us. But if you can feel that pain and understand that he probably felt a similar pain at a very young age, and nobody cared and nobody loved him through that pain and validated his feelings, if you can come to that place of grace, I really think that's where the walls are going to come tumbling down, and to give him maybe the courage or the hope he needs that maybe I can turn this ship around.